WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Glad to have you along. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. You can find those streams online on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube at WTIM TV. I have the Taylorville Athletic Director, Jason Hadley, in studio this morning. Great to have you back here, Mr. Hadley.
Very good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Looked like a lot of people, me and Leroy joke that it felt like the entire town showed up to the purple and gold game last Friday night. How did it go from your perspective?
It went great. That's a great night for us to get to honor our youth cheerleaders and dancers and football players. So there's usually a lot of people there. A lot of parents come out for that to see their kids get to walk out on the field. So it was a good night.
Not only obviously did the high schoolers have a bit of a scrimmage, but I know the JV and freshman teams had a scrimmage. I know you got to have a peek at the junior football teams and youth football teams. I mean, what an event that it all seems to culminate, right? Football is here, and this is the way that Taylorville High School likes to show it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I said, it's a great night for those kids to get honored. Their season had already started, but still a good time for them to get their recognition on the field, and especially for those coaches. You know, all those coaches from first grade all the way through eighth grade are volunteers. So it's a good way to honor all those coaches.
Now, I know you guys were accepting donations for admission that Friday night, which kind of throws off your attendance count. But
Right.
If you had a guess, how many people would you say throughout the night showed up?
I would say we were somewhere in the 600 to 800 range, which is very, very good for us. At a typical home game, we usually draw somewhere between 800 and 1,200. And then obviously that's including the visiting team. So I think it was a good showing, and it seemed to be very packed on the home side.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I made my way there about a half hour before the start of the actual high school purple and gold game. And it felt like as I tried to make my way to the press box, like I tried to exit a Major League Baseball stadium because it's just so packed. Everyone's trying to leave from all the junior football. Needless to say, you guys impressed me Friday night. You guys did a great job. You have a count on how much money you raised for Taylorville High School athletics?
It was a little over $2,000, I think. So, a lot of money, a lot of people donate, and it's very, very good cause and good way for us to make a little bit of money at the beginning of the year and put it back into the program.
It is the football program that goes back into, right?
Correct.
Nice. Well, and I'm sure that goes towards stuff like gear, travel, etc.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right. Okay. A lot of other, obviously, the big thing everyone's paying attention to right now, football coming up Friday night in Mount Vernon. I know the team looks ready. You ready to go to Mount Vernon?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a long wait. It seems like this week's been a long week waiting for Friday night, but get to see our freshmen play tonight also at home. They play at 6:00 tonight against Mount Vernon as well. So that's a good kickoff to the season. And then we'll head south tomorrow.
I got to say, I'm pretty happy about the way the schedule looks this season for football because last year we went up to the Chicago area, St. Edwards. Felt like just about every other week we were on the road. This year it feels like, there's a few games here at home. I think our furthest trip is Mount Vernon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what can you say? This seems like a pretty favorable schedule for Taylorville High School football.
Yeah, this is the year where we get 5 home games and 4 road games as opposed to last year. So start off on the road, and then we get to come home for three in a row, which is great. That Elgin game was a last-minute add after we had a team drop on us week 2. We're thankful that they were able to play us and then return the favor to come down here this year. So, right. And then that's the reasoning for the Saturday game. Obviously, they just can't get down here early enough on a Friday when they travel in about 3.5 hours.
Right. Yeah. Really do appreciate the team from Elgin coming down this way this time.
Absolutely.
Hey, somebody's got to pay the gas bill one way or another. Anyway, well, is there anything else that you'd like to say about the football program this season? Mr. Hadley, is there anything else?
No, I mean, we're excited. We got a good core of returning juniors and seniors coming back, and obviously a very solid core of sophomores that people got to see a lot of last year that are going to have to step up into some big roles. So it'll be exciting.
I have one more question for you on that football team. Let's start a little bit more general. What kind of preseason recognition awards does the IHSA hand out? And if they hand anything out. Did Taylorville pick up any of the football athletes pick up?
Not that I've been aware of.
Okay.
Mostly the biggest thing for high school, especially in Illinois, they just do the top 10 for the teams preseason. We weren't in there. We're going to fly under the radar this year. We got a lot of youth in the program, which is a good thing in my opinion. But yeah, we're not going to be on anyone's top 10 list yet. So we got to prove ourselves on the field.
All right. Well, let's take a look at some of the other sports going on right now. What are you offering in the fall?
Right now, we've got volleyballs kicking off tonight. They go to Shelbyville for their first game of the year. Varsity or freshmen start at 5, and then JV and varsity to follow. Boys and girls golf have been in full swing already. Their girls golf has a match tonight over in Raymond, and then boys golf has had a couple of tournaments under their belts. And then we've got girls tennis this year, which is a new. We used to have girls tennis, and now we're starting it back up this year. So they will start next Tuesday. They have their first match over in Mount Zion. And then we've also got boys soccer. They've had 2 games already this week and play again tonight. The Route 29 rivalry with Pana. And I feel like I'm leaving. Cross country. Cross country will begin next Saturday, the 3rd, with the Rochester Invite.
How long has golf been in full swing?
Boys golf started. We actually have a beginning of the year tournament, and it was on Thursday, the 11th this year. So pretty early before school even gets going. But we had 12 teams down at Lakeshore for that tournament. It was a great tournament, great day. And girls had their first match this week.
What can you say about the golf program overall?
There, for girls golf, we returned Sophia Robinson, who was an all-conference member last year, placed top 10 in the conference tournament. She's coming off of a little bit of an illness, so she's recovering from that. So it's going to take her a little bit to get her stamina, I guess you could say.
Right.
And then boys golf, we're young. We've got some, we're led by a junior and a sophomore and some freshmen. So we've got some time to grow for the boys golf for sure.
I want to continue to talk about the other fall sports and get your take on them. But first, we got to take a quick break. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show. That's Athletic Director of Taylorville High School, Jason Hadley. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first.
WTIM.
This is a station editorial. I'm Randall J. Miller, station president. The word inflation is one we hear practically every day in the news. And of course, both political parties are blaming each other for it. Truth is, no matter where you go or what you buy, you're feeling its effects. I want to delve into the why we have the inflation rate at plus or minus 10% over the past year. It's simple economics, capitalism, and the marketplace. Reason number 1 of 2. When both parties passed legislation borrowing or printing over $2 trillion, that's trillion with a T, dollars to pass out, claiming the country needed it in 2021 despite the signs the economy was doing okay, that's going to cause inflation and a lot of it. Reason number 2 of 2. When politicians shut off the domestic oil spigot because the majority party is realizing that instead of having 4 years to pass their green agenda, they now have less than 3 months, they've got to stop anything that'll increase domestic oil supply and more, begin ramping down anything that burns fossil fuel. The problem is when you shut down increased production of fossil fuels that still power homes, businesses, and factories, you can't ramp up the green agenda to generate power fast enough. Wind and solar aren't being built quick enough to replace the fossil fuels the majority party are shutting down. That's why one of my transmitter side power bills last month went from $1,200 to over $3,100. Ouch. Well, there you have it. Simple economics, capitalism, and the marketplace. And when politicians tamper with it, it turns into a mess and is hitting our pocketbooks and will continue to do so for quite a while. When the marketplace is left alone without any tampering by the government, it works pretty well. When government, whether it's federal or state, does tamper with it, you and I will be paying more for our energy, goods, and services for a long time. That's our opinion. We welcome yours. Our email address is editorial@randyradio.com.
Rolling Meadows Senior Living in Taylorville invite you to make their home your home. Become part of the Rolling Meadows family. Applications for residency are now being accepted. Rolling Meadows offers seniors 62 and older a smoke-free facility with round-the-clock maintenance, controlled access, large kitchens with full-size appliances, on-site laundry facilities, complimentary Wi-Fi in common areas, and more. Call 217-287-2450 to schedule an appointment. Rolling Meadows is sponsored by Lutheran Social Services of Illinois and funded through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and Federal Home Bank of Chicago. Rolling Meadows is an equal housing opportunity provider.
Whatever you want to do financially, it's achievable with People's Bank and Trust. Find a personal or business banker simply by clicking the People's Bank and Trust icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Robinson from Advanced Title. Whether selling your home on your own or through your local realtor, please give us a call at 824-8007 for all your title work needs.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. I have Athletic Director of Taylorville High School, Jason Hadley, here in studio, and he's giving you a preview on all the fall sports and all the different programs. We talked a lot about football, a little bit about golf. I know you mentioned that Taylorville volleyball kicking off their season in Shelbyville tonight. What can you say about that program this year?
That program is firing right now. I mean, went to the super sectional last year, ran into a buzzsaw, ran into a really good team at super sectional in Normal West, and you know they end up going on to state. We missed it by one set. So. But they got a lot of returners coming back, and we've got some good young talent coming through the program, so they're going to be real exciting to watch also.
Yeah, very young. And a lot of those, if you guys maybe pay attention to girls basketball, but maybe not girls volleyball, a lot of those girls basketball players are on the volleyball team, and so you can kind of imagine where those teams are heading.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of carryover with the girls basketball and volleyball program. Volleyball kicks off at home next Thursday against Rochester, so opening match against Rochester. It's gonna be a tough one, but hopefully we can pack the gym and help our girls out.
I really love a good matchup with Rochester. And,
absolutely, yeah. They played them over the summer a couple times and split with them a couple times, so it's gonna be a good one for sure.
Well, let's see. We've hit golf, we've hit football, we've hit volleyball. I know there's boys soccer. How's that gone so far? And what can you say about it?
Boys soccer, most kids in the program since I took over. We're up to 20 kids now this year, which is fantastic. Very senior dominant this year, which is a good thing. You know, have a lot of experience coming back. We're currently 0-2, but early on in the season, and they're going to get their legs going eventually, right. And hopefully a rivalry game with Pana will spark their season tonight.
Right. And then cross country, when is their first meet again? You mentioned it in the first segment.
Next Saturday, the 3rd. Cross country team, they're going to be very good also. They've got a very good on the boys side, they've got 2 seniors and then a very good core of juniors, and then we've actually got 4 freshmen this year, which is fantastic. For the girls side, a lot of returners there as well, only losing 1 senior last year. And we had Owen Morgan, who was able to make it to the state tournament last year, so we've got a very talented group of cross country runners, so excited to see what they can do also.
Am I missing any athletic programs for fall?
The other one's girls tennis. Like I said, that's the new one this year. We've got 12 girls on the team, which is unbelievable considering it started real late. Shout out to Mia Morlock for getting that program going. Coached by Robert Brown. He's a teacher at the junior high. He's done a fantastic job. The girls all seem to be really enjoying it. The only downside is we don't have a place to have home matches because we only have the 1 court out at Manners. But they're going to go on the road for about 6 or 7 matches, and then they'll get to play in the Apollo Conference tournament this year for the first time, and then they'll get to roll into postseason. So very exciting to see how they go as well.
Very exciting time for Taylorville High School athletics, including the construction or plans to construct a new fine arts and sports complex. I mean, that sounds pretty cool, right? A new sports complex for all the different programs. What are your thoughts on that project? It's
amazing. We got to sit through and watch the architectonics group out of Quincy. They showed us the plans and pictures and really, really put a picture with the plan that we've been talking about for going on a year now. It's amazing, and if we can get that to come to fruition, it's going to be community changing for Taylorville for sure.
What are some of the things athletics wise, assuming everything goes well? We're operating on that assumption right now. But if it all goes well, what are some of the things that this new sports complex will offer Taylorville High School athletics?
I think the biggest thing, in my opinion, is having a home for our wrestling team. They would have their own place to wrestle, with the mats being at the school, and then the weight room's phenomenal. We obviously need a new weight room very badly in Taylorville High School, and then having that 3 courts for practice facilities, not having to worry about practices getting over at 8-9 o'clock at night, and it'll do volumes for the sports and for the fine arts side of things as well.
Of course. I don't want to neglect the fine arts side, but you're the athletic director. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
One other thing I wanted to mention to you, I know last season you heard chatter and even a little bit of a scheduling of the trip to the Hoosier Gym to play some high school basketball this winter. Any update on that for this season?
Yeah, so that was actually supposed to happen in 2020, and then obviously COVID backfired on us with that, and then we pushed it to 2021. And with the pushing of schedules, there was a scheduling conflict with the Hoosier Gym, so we ended up moving it to this year. So December 17th this year, our girls varsity and boys varsity basketball teams will travel to Hoosier Gym, and they'll both get to play a game against Rochester over there.
I think I'm going to go home and watch Hoosiers this afternoon. Jason, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Jason Hadley is the athletic director for Taylorville High School. Your stream brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark.
WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM